Hello.
Hello, Martin. How are
Uh,
you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you too.
Yeah. Did you have a good weekend?
So-so. But I've read Pachinko. I mean, the novel you introduced to
Oh,
me. Yes,
yeah.
that was interesting. I mean, fun to
Mm,
read.
quite historical as well in some
Yes,
context.
yes. And then it was kind of ironical that the the son of Moses, I forgot his
Mm,
name, but had to return to the family business.
yes.
Pachinko.
Yes, that's true.
Although he had a very good education and then prospect in his
Mm,
investment or
mm,
some company.
yeah. I found it interesting because both brothers, although one was very highly educated and supported, and the other went through normal, I suppose, normal education. They both ended up doing the same job in the pachinko
Oh,
parlor.
right.
Yeah,
Yes. Noah and Moses.
that's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah, that was yes, interesting. I mean, maybe the the life of Noah is very ironical.
Mm,
Yes,
yeah.
he ended up with the something that he desires not to be.
Yes. Yeah. It kind of gives you a bit of a indication that life is already, you know, given to you. And it's
Oh,
very difficult to change your life because things
okay.
are already
Hmm.
set.
Yes, you could say that according to that story.
Yeah,
Yes,
but I'm more of a romanticist. I prefer that life you can change, you
yes,
can make differences.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too, me too. Yes, but sometimes I find it very hard to get away from the original ego inside of me.
Mm,
And if I try to do something, I cannot get out of my something like property that I was born with.
mm, mm. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Um, but well, I'm pleased that you read the book because I found it very insightful. Learning a bit more about the history, which wasn't really um, covered in my education. Um, when I was growing up, I learned a lot about maybe European history,
Mhm.
the First and the Second World War, of course. Maybe more modern history, which has impacted the UK, like maybe the Falklands War, or or even going back further, maybe the Battle of Hastings, or the Spanish Armada attacking
Okay.
England. But it's all been very Eurocentric. It's all very European focused, and I've never really studied Eastern Asian history. Um,
Mm.
and for me, because of my life now, I'm more interested in that. And this book itself gave me some insight on how things were, particularly in a country which no one knew about, like South Korea or Korea. No one knew in the UK what Korea was, and
Mm.
I remember um, telling my grandmother and my grandfather I am getting married to someone from South Korea, and
Mm.
they didn't know anything about South Korea. That was it.
Did they know where it is?
Mm,
I mean,
yeah, they
peninsula, not the island.
yeah, they knew where it was in Southeast Asia, but they didn't necessarily know anything about Korea.
Mm.
Um, Yeah, my parents as well. They thought South Korea everybody lived in the sort of like, like huts, like
Oh,
very poor
oh,
country, but it's become one of the richest leading economies in the world, a
yes.
bit like Japan. So I found it quite
Yeah.
interesting.
And nowadays, that Korean culture, such as K-pops and
Mm,
Korean movies, quite popular
yes, that's
in the
true.
world.
Yeah, um, I suppose. Well, Japan became famous for anime. You know, my son loves anime,
Oh,
and it's that culture that's exported abroad. You know, so my son loves Pokemon or
oh,
anime or
mhm.
watching Japanese style animations.
uh,
And I think Korea has as well has their own uh, idea of what's exported. Like you mentioned, movies and K-pop, K-drama,
mhm.
um,
Yes.
and it's become more accessible. You know, if I think back maybe 20
Mhm.
years ago, Korea, no one really knew Korea apart from the Korean War. That was it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, and so nowadays with Netflix and online, the internet,
Mhm.
Korea has become more accessible. Yeah. And
Yes.
I suppose the same for Japan as well.
Yes. Nowadays, because of the YouTube or other
Mm.
internet movies, videos, we can see many Korean TV dramas and TV shows.
Mm. Mm.
And one of the Korean TV shows that I like is that that singing match between the Korean team and the Japanese team,
Mm.
and each team consists of singers. I think that the program staff have found for that singing match. So those Japanese and the Korean singers in that TV program weren't very popular before that TV program,
Mm.
and they sing kind of old things,
Mm.
maybe at least 20 or 30 years
Mm.
ago that were popular in
Mm.
Japan and in Korea.
Mm. Mm. That's
Then,
nice.
yes, that's nice. And then sometimes Korean singers sing Japanese old songs, and then Japanese singers sing some Korean old songs.
Mm.
Uh, oh, I forgot the word. That's a toto? No, to. Anyway. Oh, okay. There's a word for uh, old Korean songs. 20, 30, 40 years old
Mm.
popular, Korean popular songs.
Mm.
Uh, uh, Dorotto, I think.
Toronto.
Dorotto, I think.
Toronto. Is that Japanese or Korean?
I think it's Korean.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Anyway, that's the one specific example.
Yeah.
It's, that is an example of many pieces of information about Korea that
Mm.
are available in Japan so easily.
Yes.
Before
Yeah.
that, we had the era of uh, Korean TV drama,
Mm.
maybe started 20 years ago. Many middle women were so attached to the main character of that Korean love stories.
Ah. there's a really popular Japanese TV series, I think, which is very, it's really popular in South Korea, but I can't remember. Letter of Love, I think it was called.
Oh, okay, yeah, love letter, I think.
Love Letter, yeah.
At least maybe 20 or more, a little bit more years ago.
Mm,
That was first made in Japan, and then that was
yeah.
remade in Korea.
Yes.
That remake of Korean version became more popular in the world than the Japanese original, I think.
It's interesting. Let me see. I saw something in the Korean news recently. Ah, yes, Love Letter. Because recently what was it? The main actor, passed away in South Korea, and I saw this news, and it mentioned that it was like a Japanese story, and I think it was remade, as you mentioned, into a Korean drama as well. So, as you can see here,
Yeah.
for example,
Yeah, this actress shown in this page is actually Japanese actress
yeah,
played at the main character of the Japanese original version of Love Letter, and then she passed away in her apartment maybe a month ago.
It's become really popular again because of the circumstances, and
See.
1995. So,
Okay,
wow.
30 years ago.
I was a teenager back then. But I find it really interesting, and it does mention, like, it was re-released, it was remade, I guess, in Korea,
Yes.
or re-released in South Korea. And here, Miho Nakayama.
Yes. Yeah. That's actually that's a Nakayama Miho, of course.
Okay. With the
Yeah.
surname round.
Right.
Yeah, got it.
The
Nakayama Miho. Okay.
names of Korean people. I
Yeah.
don't know why that the Japanese people tends to reverse the order of the surname and the family name when the Japanese names are written or said in English.
So the surname traditionally in Japanese goes at the front. Is that correct?
Yes.
The same in Korean, but then in English we reverse it round.
Yes. So in Japan, it's a common practice to reverse the order of the names. So in English, the name of Japanese person rendered with the family name first.
Gosh.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm mixed up when I was asked, "What's your first name?" Or when I'm filling out the form, when it say the first name, should I put my family name or a given name?
Yes.
Yeah. But sorry,
No, that's interesting.
Your line of story, speaking. Yes, so yes, that was sad news. Nakayama was at her best, I think, when that film was shot, 1995. She looked so attractive, good in that movie, I think.
So how old was she when she passed away?
I'm not very sure, but I think maybe 50, a bit more than 50, I think.
Right. So she was quite young, I suppose.
Yes. I think she was in her 20s when she acted as a main character in that movie, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought, you mentioned you want to do a bit of speaking practice, particularly for TOEFL, IELTS, that sort of
Yes.
thing. So I've got a couple of things organised
Oh,
for
thank you.
today, if that's okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So we'll make a start. Let me just get the whiteboard up. And so today what we'll do is we'll have a look at some like part 2 speaking exercises where you can present about some topics, and then when you're done, I can give you a bit of feedback based on how you're speaking. So let me have a look. So our first exercise, so here, describe a time when you helped someone, and then you should say, for example, who helped you, what the situation was, how they helped, or how you helped them, rather, and explain how you felt after, how you felt about helping that particular person. So what I'll do is I'll give you about a minute to plan.
Okay.
And after 1 minute, when you're ready, you can go about and present between 1 to 2 minutes, if that's okay.
Okay, 1 to 2 minutes.
And if you want, you can use a pen and paper to write down some ideas, okay?
Okay.
So I'll give you 1 minute starting now.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
I'll be back in a moment. Bear with me.
Sure.
Okay, when you're ready, you can make a start, okay?
Okay. Okay, let me start. It was one evening with a quite hard rain in Tokyo. I helped a wheelchaired person when he was trying to find a way to go down the stairs to the subway station from the street. So as soon as I found that situation, I tried to figure out how I could help him. And then by chance, 2 people were coming, one Japanese and one English-speaking man. So I asked them to give hands to help wheelchaired person to carry him down the stairs to the subway station. But we found that was an electric wheelchair. So electric wheelchair is very, very heavy. So even with the 3 persons, including me, it was quite hard to carry that wheelchair with that person in the chair down the stairs. Now, I even stepped on the foot of the man having the chair below me a couple of times. So I felt bad when I was helping the wheelchaired person. So anyway, we successfully carried the wheelchaired person down the stairs. But after that, I wondered why that wheelchaired person was alone, trying to find a way to go down the stairs to the subway station under the rain in the evening. I did not know why, but so before I felt good after helping that person, I felt quite strange why that situation had happened.
Mm.
Also, I felt bad of my stepping on the feet of one of the 2 guys who gave us hands. So it was kind of mixed feeling after we helped that wheelchaired person.
I see. Okay. All right. That's fine. Quite an interesting example. Yeah.
Yeah, but sentences were not very sophisticated, I think.
No, that's okay. That's good. What I would recommend, particularly if you're going to speak for maybe a minute or 2 minutes, is to help the listener. So what I would recommend is perhaps saying, I'm going to talk about blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So you could say, I'm going to talk about a time when I helped a person and the situation, how I helped them, and my feelings about helping this person. And then it helps the listener follow what you're talking about, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That will reinforce the points that I'm going to talk about to myself and to my listener.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you mentioned it was one evening or one night with quite hard rain in Tokyo. So
Right.
yeah, it's a nice setup. It's a nice
In the evening, yes. I don't know, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock
Yeah.
after my work.
Yeah, so you could say it was pouring down with rain one evening in Tokyo. And blah, 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 blah. In this case, we've got the situation, it's pouring down with rain, and we've got the time, one evening, and then we've got the place. And we tend to follow this structure, so the time and the place is always at the end of the sentence, usually in English. Whereas the action is usually at the beginning of the sentence. Yeah, and then you mentioned, for example, wheelchaired person. What would be a better way to say this?
All right. So, a person in a wheelchair.
Okay. A person in a wheelchair. That sounds okay, but again, yeah, I want to try and change wheelchaired into a different adjective.
Oh, all right. Handicapped.
Okay, handicapped.
Yeah, very, very general. I mean,
Yeah.
wide in meaning.
Yeah, but handicapped itself is quite a negative adjective. It can be a bit.
All right. Okay. All right. I think I know that word.
Starts with D. The word I'm thinking of.
Disabled.
Yeah, disabled.
Okay.
So you could say a disabled person, or maybe a wheelchair-bound person, I guess.
All right, wheelchair-bound person. All right, that's very specific.
But yeah, disabled sounds. It's more common in English. A disabled person in a wheelchair. Yeah. Okay. What I did like, though, you said I tried to figure out blah blah blah. So that was quite nice. I liked that. I tried to figure out. It's a good form of a phrasal verb. Figure out. Yeah. And then you said by chance 2 people were coming, and that's okay. So we got to begin with by chance.
Okay, by chance.
2 people.
Approaching or no?
Kind of.
Or walking down the street toward us.
Yeah. By chance, 2 people were walking towards me.
Okay, yeah. Right.
When.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could help. You could ask for their help. Yeah.
Yes.
And then you said to give hands to the. Again, okay, to give hands to. Now, you've used some nice phrasal verbs like to figure out, but I want to try and use a different phrasal verb in this situation to.
Okay, maybe lend hands a bit better, but you mean that some expression without using hands.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Not simply help or assist.
Okay, so help would be a good verb.
Help. Okay.
To help.
To help wheelchaired person.
Or disabled person.
Or a disabled person to go down the stair to the subway station.
Yeah. So I asked them to help me get the person down to the subway station. Yeah. So.
Right. So yeah, I asked them to help me to get that disabled person to go down the stairs to the subway station.
Yeah, to get the disabled person down to the subway station.
Right.
Yeah, that would be better.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, as long as I mentioned that the stairs or steps? No.
Yeah, to help the disabled person down the stairs.
Stairs.
To...
Yeah, sometimes I mix up. That should be steps or stairs or staircase or something.
Yeah, to get the disabled, or guide the disabled person down the stairs to the subway station. Yeah. So in this case, help out would be a better phrasal verb. Yeah.
Help me out. All right.
But anyway. Okay, so there's that. Yeah, electric wheelchair is very, very heavy. Yeah.
That heavy until that moment.
So very, very heavy. What would be a better adjective in English?
Okay. First, if I may use the past tense, was unexpectedly heavy.
Okay, now that's nice. Yeah, unexpectedly heavy. That's nice. I like that. Heavy. Yeah, heavy. It's a bit of a basic
All right. Okay.
adjective. So I'm just having a look at the dictionary. Heavy. Weighty. Bulky. I think heavy is good.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so
means heavy. I mean, heavy in weight as well. Sometimes bulky things can be light in weight.
oh yeah, bulky could mean like very big, but also quite light. But bulky, quite a large size. The electric wheelchair was unexpectedly heavy. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. Dictionary. I'm going to my favourite dictionary, the Cambridge Dictionary. And if I have a quick look, the English Dictionary of Heavy. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't see much in the way of other adjectives. Okay. Right, so that's that. I felt strange. Mixed feelings. Give us... okay, so... Yeah, so mixed feelings. You mentioned that you had mixed feelings about helping that person out because they were out in the rain very late at night trying to negotiate getting down to the subway station. And it was very strange for them to be alone. Yeah. And you mentioned give us a hand. And then that's good. I think that's a nice phrase.
Yeah, I use the similar expressions repeatedly.
Yeah, so all that's good. Do you have any questions at all now?
Okay, again, let me double check that the stairs can be the steps.
Okay.
Built in the staircase.
You know the difference between stairs and steps?
All right, and
do you know the difference?
I'm not very sure, but steps in the Ganga River, that's very, very wide. That should be steps instead of stairs.
And how many steps are there?
I think I remember the god had more than 10 steps, I think,
Okay.
of the water.
And the subway station, how many
Oh,
stairs were there?
many more than 10,
Yeah.
20 maybe, at least.
So,
least.
yeah, so normally stairs would be a lot more and steps would be a small amount.
All right.
That's the difference.
Right. So, you have, of course, the tubes in London, and then you have the stairs extending from the street down to the subway station.
We do, and we also have the escalator or the electric stairs going down as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, in Japan too, but
Yeah.
he was in front of the entrance of the subway station. I mean, the staircase.
Yes.
Subway station. Not escalator.
Now, also in your home, particularly in the UK, if you have 2 floors or so,
right,
you will have a staircase going from the ground to the first floor,
right,
of course. But then maybe outside you have a few steps going into the garden or coming into the home. So there may be 2 or 3 steps to get in. And then inside you have the stairs going up to the next floor.
Okay. So when you describe the stairs and ordinary house, or ordinary 2-story house, you call it the stairs or a staircase, the stairs of a staircase.
Yes, a staircase.
Right.
Yeah. So here I'm just sharing some pictures. So we got some steps going into the home, and then let me get some stairs. A picture of stairs, of course. And so a picture of stairs in a home or a building, and there we have the stairs going in from the ground to the first floor. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's all right. Okay.
Is it just one word in Japanese, the stairs and the steps?
Yes, and then sometimes that's a kaidan in Japanese, stairs. And then if you have just a few steps at the porch or in an entrance of the library or something, then maybe sometimes we describe them as just dan instead of kaidan.
Dan. Okay.
Yeah, because kai means sort of story, 2 stories, 3 stories. Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. I think for English people, steps lead into somewhere. They're usually outside going into somewhere. Whereas stairs are already inside and they go much higher.
Yeah.
Longer distance.
Yes. And then in Japanese, we call staircase and the stairs within the ordinary house. Kaidan. Both are the same word.
Yeah. Okay. Let me give you another speaking task. So we've looked at where you've helped out with someone. Interesting. And this time, let me get. Okay, this would be interesting. So this time Describe a famous person you'd like to
Sorry.
meet.
Before,
Yeah.
I would like to ask one more question about
Sure.
my speech.
Yeah.
All right. I found it a bit difficult to describe my action of stepping on the foot of the
Mm-hmm.
person, one of the two persons who
Yeah.
were carrying the wheelchair,
Uh-huh.
sort of below me. So he was going down backward, and I was holding the upper part
Yeah.
of the wheelchair.
So you were going forward, he was going backwards.
Right. And
Yeah.
in that station, I stepped on his foot a couple of times. So I felt bad.
Yeah. So I guess you said, I'm very sorry, I'm very sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, maybe I should describe that the position of our three men holding the wheelchair. So I should have said that I hold the rear part of the wheelchair, and then two other persons held front side, I mean, of the chair. And then the two people were going backward. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't very sure about the third person, whether he was going forward or backward, but I clearly remember that the person just below me was going down, backward.
So yeah, I was holding the back of the wheelchair, while the two other people were holding the front of the wheelchair.
Right. Okay, yeah. So,
and I accidentally stepped on one person's foot.
Okay, one person's, all right.
A couple of times.
Yeah, right. One person's foot.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that I think that would be the easiest way to describe it. Yeah.
So accidentally is a good word, and one person's foot. All right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions at all?
No, I cannot think any other question at the moment, so we could go on to the next practice.
Sure. So this time we've got describe a famous person you'd like to meet, and you should say who the person is, why they are famous, what you would like them to talk about, and explain why you would like to meet that person.
Okay.
So, again, I'll give you 1 minute, and you can then talk between 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. So 1 minute to plan.
So, what person I would like to talk to and why?
Oh, one person you would like to meet.
Okay, meet, right.
Yeah.
And then talking person.
Yeah. So I'll give you 1 minute to plan, and then when you're ready, after 1 minute, you can then share.
Okay.
Okay. So a minute's gone, and
Okay.
then when you're ready, you can start.
So I'm going to talk about the person I would like to meet and talk in person, and why I would like to see her. That person is a jazz singer named Blossom Dearie, who's already dead for about 20 years now, I think. She was quite popular in 1960s, and then the way she sings is very modern. It's quite unique among other typical jazz singers such as Ella Fitzgerald or other famous female jazz singers. Blossom Dearie sings a modern way, and then she was singing in New York bar when she was above 80. So if I had visited New York 20 years, I could have visited that bar where she was singing, and I would like to talk if it was possible, how she could manage to sing in her 80s, but she's already gone, or she passed away, so it was impossible. Maybe I may have a chance when the AI is developed and then give me a virtual experience of meeting her. So that's my dream.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. Yeah, good introduction. Yeah, I'd like to talk about and then that was fine. Blossom, what was her name?
Dearie.
Dearie.
Yeah, Blossom Dearie. That's, cutie name, I think.
Yeah, Blossom Dearie. I don't know that name.
Oh, that's she's a white singer.
Yeah. Ah, okay, Blossom Dearie. Yeah, similar to Bill Evans, the pianist, and wow. She lived in New York, born and raised and died in New York. How interesting.
She sings in a whispering way. Not harsh or low voice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have to have a listen.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
That's all right. That's okay. Yeah, I was listening to some jazz music yesterday. I will have to share. It was an Italian and an American quintet, and I was listening to their music. But I'll share some of their music later. Yeah, so you mentioned she is already dead.
Right.
In English, it sounds a bit direct.
Okay.
Yeah, you could say she has already passed away.
Right, she's already passed away.
Yeah, so again, using these phrasal verbs just to help you. To pass away means to die. The way she sings is quite unique. Yeah, the way she sings is, I would say, for example, was rather than...
No, it was, but I still listen to her on CD or YouTube, so...
Yeah, of course.
But, I should have said was.
Yeah. It's just a small thing, but it's nothing to... yeah, so she was singing in New York bar when she was 80.
Yes.
And in this case, it's just one thing that's missing. Maybe New York bars?
Okay, right, yes. I think she had a particular bar where she sang, but
Okay.
I'm not sure it was only one, but a couple of bars where she sang.
Yeah. So it could be, it could be more than
Right.
one, or it could be she was singing in a New York bar. So if it's one specific one.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
In a New York bar. Then, yeah. We
Uh,
should not care about
yeah.
whether it was a one bar or more than one bar.
And then I would. You mentioned you were interested in how she could sing in her 80s.
Right.
So you could say, I'm curious how she was able to sing despite her being in her 80s. It's a bit of a long expression, you know. I'm curious how she was able to sing despite her being in her 80s.
Yeah. In her 80s.
Yeah. So, I think that was better. Yeah. Again, not really too problematic. I think it was quite good.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Now, in terms of the music that I was listening to, specifically the jazz music.
Yeah, Stanley Talentine was good. Sorry, I didn't mention.
Yeah.
Was it Stanley Talentine?
Yeah, Stanley Turrentine. Oh, yes, yes, you listened to Stanley Turrentine. For me, bear with me. One moment. Yes, Bob Cooper and Conte Candoli.
What? That's, it doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, so I've got a playlist here, and I'll just share. For me, I like it because it's just trumpet, saxophone, piano, bass, and drums. I think, like a quintet.
Right. Okay. Yes.
And,
quite traditional.
Yeah.
Arrangement.
And you can have a listen in your own time. Anyway. Right. We'll finish off there. And let me just download this worksheet for you. Do you have any questions at all?
Not at the moment. I will ask if I come up with any other questions.
Yeah, of course.
Next lesson.
All right. Well, have a lovely evening. It was nice to see you again, and I'll see you in our next lesson. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for today's lesson.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.